Assalamu alaikum.
Biodiversity is a term that represents the total variety of all life on Earth. That's a big thing to sum up. Thousands of different world habitats, millions of different species, billions of different individuals, and the trillions of different characteristics they all have. The total biodiversity of our planet is immense, which is a good thing, because the more biodiversity...
So class, this video is about biodiversity, and I remember that during my lectures I have also shown this video to you guys, and as far as it is concerned with the biodiversity, we have discussed a few things. We have had presentations in class 8M regarding the importance of biodiversity, ecosystem that are present on Earth, 3 types: desert, rainforest, and ocean. And we have discussed about it that basically who started all this about that we should classify all the organisms, that there are different variety of organisms exist on planet Earth. So the objectives of this lectures are, you all know as well. You can pause the video and have a look at it. You know the biodiversity that exists on the Earth of many living things, either they're plants or animals. So who actually started it? So and why was it started? What were the bases of it? So let's focus on the contribution of a few scientists. So Aristotle was the first person who actually started something known as classification. He thought that classification is necessary to study many variety of life on Earth, as we live in a home. So we classify our rooms for some purposes. For example, there are rooms in our home that are for dining purpose. Every room we do not prefer to dine in on. So classification is a part of life. We even organize our cupboards, so we classify them, that in that part I will keep my dresses which are for the daily wearing. So classification is a part of life. So when we talk about the variety of life, so it is trillion. So how can we actually classify them, and who actually contributed in its classification? So the first name is of Aristotle, and he actually started the earliest known system of classification. And then Abu Usman Umar al-Jahiz, he wrote a book of 350 species of animals as well. Another one is Ibn Rushd, and he translated the book which Aristotle wrote about classification. Then Andrea is there. He divided plants into 15 groups at that time. All this is written in your book. It's just a revision. You can say mini revision. John Ray published work on the classification of plants, and Augustus introduced taxon of order. Order is in a hierarchy, a name of a rank that is designated to the unit of classification. Like here, there are many ranks: life, domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and a species. So it's a name, rank. Tournefort introduced the tags of class and species. Linnaeus grouped species according to similar physical characters. Characterization is basically the first part, which is now the main character of classification, and he's also known as the father of taxonomy. He said that there are 2 kingdoms at that time, one which is moving animals and one which are not moving plants. Haeckel said no, there are 3 kingdoms. Let's see, what did he say? And then Sharon said no, there are animals which are prokaryotic, and there are animals which are eukaryotic. So we'll see that what are they. Whitaker said no, there are 5 kingdoms. And then Margulis and Schwartz said that there are 5 kingdoms and they are there because of their cellular organization and mode of nutrition. So they actually contributed. Whitaker proposed an elaborative 5 kingdom classification: Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae, and Animalia. The main criteria of the 5 kingdom classification were their cell structure, body organization, mode of nutrition, and reproduction. So basically, 2 kingdoms were introduced. It has already been discussed: plants and animals. And then Haeckel said no, the protistas are there. They are unicellular, colonial, bacteria, algae, fungi were there. So he kept all unicellular bacteria, algae, fungi there. So when we talked about 5 kingdoms, which is the classification of today's world, so Monera are with the bacteria classification. Bacteria are in the Monera kingdom. Plants and animals have got their own kingdom. Protista and fungi have got their own kingdom, and there are obvious reasons of them. There are many reasons. Let's start from the first king, Monera. So we'll see the cell structure is the unicellular. Let's take the example of bacteria here. They're absorptive, photosynthetic, and this absorptive mode of nutrition is observed in fungi as well, and they are saprophobic as well. They feed on the dead material. They're non-motile and they produce both asexually and sexually, and they have got hyphae and rhizoids in them, and these features were not observed in these Monera members. So they're different. Let's talk about protozoans. Protozoans are usually phytoplanktons and zooplanktons. They're found in the ocean, and phytoplanktons make their own food and zooplanktons feed on them. They are not bacterias. They are a bit evolved than bacterias. They are unicelled but eukaryotic. Their cells have got a better structure, true nucleus they have, while bacteria do not have this true nucleus. They are a much better evolved than the kingdom Monera. Fungi are multicellular and eukaryotic. They have the catenaceous structure, and plants are they are multicellular. They have cellulose in their cell wall, while animal cell do not possess any cell wall. These are the basic differences I am discussing here. Rest you can read from the book. So this was about 5 kingdoms. So when 5 kingdoms were there, so animals were classified there. So now, how will we name them? The naming mechanism is binomial nomenclature. The system of nomenclature in which 2 terms are used to denote a species of living organism. The first one indicating the genus, and second one is about the species. So nomen means name and kleo means to call. The binomial nomenclature means 2-name system of naming. For example, I'm saying Homo sapiens, so Homo is a genus and sapiens is for species. So there are different types of biodiversity: DNA diversity, variety of species in a different area, and ecosystem diversity that exist. Conservation of biodiversity is basically to save the life on earth. So it is the protection, upliftment, and scientific management of animals and plants as to maintain at its threshold level and derive sustainable benefits for the present and future generation. So there are many things people are doing to conserve biodiversity, like they're protecting lands, they're trying to manage pollution, they're trying to make a good food, organic food, they're trying to save habitats of living organisms, of animals, they're trying to save the natural resources, and there is a list of organizations which are included in it. Among all these organizations, we'll focus on IUCN and WWF. So what is IUCN? IUCN is basically the International Union of Conservation of Nature, and it is working to conserve nature and sustainable use of natural resources. So it is used involved in data gathering and analysis. So it actually name species For example, this species does not exist here, so it will name it as an extinct. And for example, a species exists in a abundant quantity, it will name it for as least concern. Okay, the threatened categories are critically endangered, endangered, and vulnerable. This is the most discussed category of IUCN, in which they see that okay, animal is at risk. It can be extinct from the world. WWF is also another organization working for conservation. It's a non-governmental organization, and in Pakistan it is working too much, and people are at the center of everything we do. We means WWF. So they're also working for it. The main goals of them are create a climate resilient and zero carbon world, double net food availability, conserve the forest, secure water for people and nature, safeguard healthy oceans and marine livelihood, and protect the world's most important species in wildlife. So it was all about WWF, and these are the national offices of them. Almost in every country they have their offices. The endangered species of Pakistan and other SLO, you already know that there are many species which are threatened, which can be extinct from Pakistan, but we'll discuss a few. Markhor, Mount Weasel, Asian black bear, Balochistan forest mouse, black finless porpoise, European otter, vole, Indus River dolphin because of the pollution, branded eagle ray, tuna, sheep, snow leopard, Siberian cranes, green sea turtle. WWF had a campaign out of it, green sea turtle, and vultures. The national animal and bird of Pakistan are what? The one is chukar. Chukar has a fatty belly and have got black strips on it, and there is a black band on its face, and the beak is small, cute red beak. The classification of chukar is basically, it has chordate. It is coming chordate as it's contained a nerve cord, and it's in aves. Aves is for bird. It's least concern right now. There are many. So this is the picture of Markhor. Chukar. We call it Chakor as well. Okay, Markhor is coming into the threatened status, and it belongs to class Mammalia, which is basically for animals, for those which actually walk on earth, they do not fly. So it's for that. Okay. Virus, not in any group. Viroids, what are they? They are basically pathogens, small stranded circular RNA particles, and did not have any capsid or outer envelope, and they need a host to reproduce. Prions are basically proteins, and they characterize several fatal and transmissible neurodegenerative diseases in humans and many other animals. Basically, virus and prions are not in any kingdom, so they do not come in any of the kingdom because they need a host to survive, otherwise they will not survive. There is a difference of them. Virus classification according to symmetries, like they could be complex, helical, icosahedral, HIV virus. Recently, a very hazardous disease, a viral disease is there. We know that is coronavirus. So they are basically acellular and non-living. They need a host to survive. Without host, they cannot survive. They are different from the remaining pathogens. Pathogens are those things which actually cause diseases. Some silent features of bacteria are there. They're unicellular prokaryotes, and they lack developed nucleus, and rest are there. Some silent features of Protista are there. Protista is the second kingdom. Motile unicellular. Generally, the shape is oval. They make their own food because they have chlorophyll. Silent feature of fungi. Rhizopus is a very common fungi that is on our bread, and its rhizides and stolones are there, and we see that the bread is basically gray and black in color. So Rhizopus fungi are characterized by a body of branching mycelia composed of 3 types of hyphae. And the black sporangia, the tips of sporangiophores are rounded and produce numerous non-motile multinucleated spores. So whenever next time you see a bread having mold on it, don't have it, because its rhizides are secretly going into each and every bread's hole. So don't eat that bread. Okay, sound features of plants. There are 2 types of plants, monocot and dicot. Vascular and non-vascular have the same, different definition from it. And vasculars are those which contain vascular tissues, and non-vascular are those which do not have root system and leaves. And with the kingdom Animalia, there are 5 classifications, so we'll take aves. And in birds, we'll talk about pigeons. Pigeons are basically gentle, plump, small-billed birds with the skin saddle between the bill and forehead. Well, pigeons strut about with their true characteristics bobbing at the head because of their long wings and powerful flight muscle. They're strong, swift flyers. This is a common definition or introduction to any pigeon. So we have reached the end of the document. Please feel free to ask anything and search about biodiversity on internet and read from the book too. I hope you all are staying safe and healthy at home. May Allah bless you all.